You've seen our website, you've seen us in MCN or on Mad or Nomad, on the internet everywhere. Now you think you want to take a tour in Vietnam. The decision is, do you want a self-guide or do you want to take a guided tour? We're going to look at both options and the advantages and disadvantages of both. Also give one or two little tips that maybe you've not thought about. Let's look at rolling out in a pack. Generally speaking, you can get out without having to worry about anything. Everything's taken care of. You just ride and enjoy. Let's look at the upsides of riding in a group. First of all, there's effortless exploration. You don't need to worry about bike rentals, hotels, where to have lunch, where to stop, which route to take. It's easy as pie. You'll have a guide, so you'll have all that local wisdom behind you. You'll learn more about the country, the culture, and the areas that you're going to. You'll have others watching out for you, so if there's any breakdown, any reason to stop, then everyone's going to know about it and things can be taken care of easily and effortlessly. In a group, you might meet people that you've not met before, if it's a mixed group. If it's friends that have got together to make a group, then you're going to build stronger relationships with those members in the group. If those are long-standing friends, you're going to learn more about each other, or you might have a mixed group where you meet new people and they can become friends for future rides. Reliability is another thing. If you're going to take a tour, especially with us, then you're going to have a reliable bike that's well maintained. You don't need to shop around looking at bikes from rental shops and figuring out which is the best and which one is not going to break down. We've got all that covered for you. And there's a massive amount of time that's saved. This is time before you depart in terms of research and finding the best routes and places to go. And then there's also the time whilst you're on tour, not getting lost, taking the right routes, all kinds of things like that. However, there are some downsides to riding in a mob. You've got a bit less freedom. You need to take into consideration the other riders in the group, whether they drive fast or slow, and what kind of riding they want to take on. This probably means some compromise. Probably what most people see as the biggest downside is the cost of a tour. You need to cover the cost of the guide, perhaps the cost of a mechanic, the cost of a support vehicle, and then there's a premium because you're going to be getting local knowledge, and that also comes at a price. The rhythm of the tour might not be what you really like. And what I mean by that is times for breakfast, getting out early, getting out late, simply just deciding to have a day off or a morning off and then make up for it with a longer day. These are decisions that are out of your hands. The other real thing is that you might miss the independence of riding solo. Not having to do things for yourself could seem a little bit vanilla and not quite the adventure that you're after. Now let's look at the call of the solo ride. This is more about adventure, charting a new course through an unknown land, and can be a real test for anyone who's a bit adventurous. The upsides of lone motoring are unfettered freedom. You can go where you want, when you want, you can change your plans at any time. Complete freedom. It's also potentially more budget friendly. If you take the time to do the research, you can find decent places, good prices, great value. So you can save a lot of money in this, but there is the cost of time if you have it. A great upside is the bragging rights. To say that you've self-planned, self-ridden, and self-accomplished a feat of a motorcycle tour through northern Vietnam is great when you get back home or on your Instagram account. Also, there's more insight into the culture. The simple fact that you have to sort things out yourself, communicate with locals, and make sure that everything goes to plan, or when it doesn't, you can get back on plan, means that you're going to deal with more people, you're going to learn more about what the Vietnamese are really like, and you're going to really get a better insight into the country and the culture. But again, there are some downsides to an individual adventure. The first is responsibility. Everything needs to be done by you. you need to rent the bike, plan the route, book the hotels, make sure you've got places to eat, places to stay. This can be exhausting. There's also a safety factor. If you're solo or perhaps just a small group, then you're going to have to be your own first responder. This means that you've got to take into account factors such as breakdowns, accidents, and you've got to plan and prepare for those. So you might want to carry some kind of toolkit, you might want to carry extra water, and then if the worst happens, you can be prepared. You could get lost in translation, literally lost, because you can't figure out the routes or the maps. Certain places here have more than one name. That can be quite confusing. And also you're going to need to communicate with locals who might not have the best language skills. And the further you go off track, the more this will be a problem. There's also the planning factor. You're going to need to plan pre-trip and whilst on your trip as well. So you're going to need to research where to go, how to get there, different routes, all of the information, and this can take up quite a lot of time. Another downside is that you might miss out on some things that locals know. You could quite easily drive straight past that fantastic cave, that little secluded waterfall, all the hints and tips on cultural etiquette and how people react in different situations, what to do, when to do it. You could miss out on all this stuff, which is something that a local guide could fill you in on. At the end of the day, it's your ride. You know what you like to do in terms of a large group or a small group or a solo adventure, and there's no penalty for changing your mind. This trip might be a solo trip. Next trip, make it a group trip. Figure out what you think you're capable of in the area that you're going to, and then make your plans that suit you. No matter which path you choose, a guided tour or a solo rental, we at Rentabike have got you covered for either case scenario. We run quality tours and we have quality bikes for rent. So get in touch and help us to help you plan your trip.